All right, so here we go. We are going to do lesson 5.3. Okay, and this is still in systems, but we're going to do something called elimination, which is my favorite. Okay, like of all the methods, I use this one the most. Okay, I really like this one. I find this easy. So the first thing you need to make sure is that you have x and y on the same side. So ax plus by equals c. So like x and y are on the same side. Everything has to be lined up. Now that should be easy because when you think about it, you've done that for pretty much everything as far as adding, subtracting, multiplying things. You make sure everything is lined up. So that should not be too hard. Okay, so let me show you what it means to eliminate. So remember how we substituted a letter into another equation? Well, we're not going to do that this time. We're going to actually get rid of a letter. All right, so here we go. So negative 2x plus 3y equals 4, and 2x minus 1y equals a negative 8. So remember that this is still a systems. Remember that our choices are that we can intersect at one point. We can be over top, so overlap, which means we share all points, or we can be parallel and never intersect at all. Okay, so remember, those are my choices. So what you want to do is you want to look, we're going to add these two equations together. Sometimes you might have to do something in order to make sure that when you add them together, they eliminate one another. Do you see what would happen if you were to just add these two together just as they are? Oh yeah. So I'm going to take my highlighter because I want you to start doing this. I want you to highlight the two things that you think you're going to eliminate. Okay. Now, I want you to notice something. In order to get these to eliminate, one needs to be negative and one needs to be positive. So let's put a star here. Okay, I'm going to put my star there because one has to be negative, one has to be positive. One negative, one positive. That's one of the rules. Okay, notice the same coefficient. Okay, now it doesn't have to be x every time, it could be y. It doesn't really matter. So notice I'm all set to go. Because if I go ahead and I add these together, am I always going to add? Yes. Just because I don't want to subtract and make things more complicated. Okay. So what happens with 2x, negative 2x, and positive 2x? You get nothing. Okay. So I'm not even going to put a 0 because I don't want to confuse you. All right. What is 3 plus a negative 1? Well, that's 2y. 4 plus a negative 8, that's negative 4. Now, how do I solve? You've got this. Solve for y. Divide by 2. And y is negative 2. Box it in. Whatever you got to do. Now, here's the only part about elimination. So remember when we got done, we're not done yet. We have the y value. We just don't have the x value. So remember, I'm going to write my answers as ordered pairs. So I have the y, I just need the x. Well, we're going to take this and we're going to plug it into one of the original equations. Okay, so that would be another like to-do list. So let's see, our original, one of our originals. Well, you know what? I am I'm going to plug it into this one. So I'm going to rewrite my original equation. And then I'm going to plug in what y is. So notice that I plugged in that -2. It is multiplication. So 2x. So what is a -1 times a -2? You're right. It's a +2. Okay. I'm going to onion that x up. All right. So what do I need to do now? Yep. -2. So 2x is equal to a -10. Divide by 2. And x equals a -5. Box that in. And add -5 to my ordered pair. So those two intersect, at -5, -2. Now, if you think about it, you could totally graph this, okay, on a, but if you wanted to do it on your graphing calculator, you would have had to solve for y on each one of these to put it on a graphing calculator. What a pain. You could totally have done this by XY cover up, but think about the time that it would take and wonder if you don't get it drawn just quite right. Okay. Is there a possibility you wouldn't get that exact number? Absolutely. Okay. So we don't want to do that. All right, let's try another one. -10x plus 3y equals 1. -5x minus 6y equals 23. Okay. All right, friends. Well, let's take a look at, I'm going to draw a line here. If I add these together, nobody's eliminated. Oh, okay. Well, this is where we have another step. You may have to multiply one equation or both to get them to cancel out. Well, you know what? I could do the x's, couldn't I? So this is 10. What can I multiply this 5 by to get 10? Well, I could do 2. But remember, my other piece is one has to be positive, one has to be negative. You know what? Wonder if I did the y's instead. Let's look at these y's. So see, you have a choice. That's the nice thing about this, is that you have a choice. You don't have to do it, and you're going to get the same answer. So I'm gonna actually look at the y's. One is positive, one is negative. That's good. But I want this to be, this is 6. Can I go 3 times something gives me 6? Oh yeah, I could do 2, couldn't I? All right, so I'm going to take this equation and I'm going to multiply the whole thing by 2. Okay? So what do I get? What's 2 times -10? -20x. What's 2 times 3? 6y. And what's 2 times 1? 2. So see, if you multiply everybody, it still keeps it, it's just twice as big. Okay, so here's my new equation. I'm going to copy over my old second equation. So I'm going to bring that down here. I'm going to highlight those y's. Is 1 positive? Is 1 negative? Oh, it is. Okay, so I'm going to ask you that every time. Okay, here we go. I'm going to add these together. So negative 20 and negative 5 is negative 25x. What do I get here? Nothing. Yes, they've been eliminated. All right, what about this one? 25. Divide by negative 25. And x is a negative 1. Box it in. Am I done? Well, I found the x, right? Now I need to find the y. How do I find the y? Go back to one of your original equations. Okay, go back to one of your originals. Does it matter which one? It doesn't matter. Let's do the first one. Okay. So negative 10x plus 3y equals 1. All right, let's plug in x. Negative 10 times negative 1 plus 3y equals 1. Notice that I'm taking the time to go back and write this. I understand there's a lot of things that you guys can do in your head. I get it, okay? But then sometimes we make silly mistakes, don't we? Minus 10. Oops, I didn't onion, did I? Shame on me. There we go. And divide by 3. Y is a negative 3. Box it in and write it as an ordered pair. Okay. Questions on that piece? Okay. So remember that you do have the possibility of having to multiply both equations. Sometimes that happens where you might have to multiply both equations. We'll deal with that. Let's try one more just to see if you remembered one of the rules. Okay, last one. Whoa, wait a minute. Yikes. I don't really like that. I don't really like that at all. In fact, this is not the same to be able to eliminate. In fact, this would be a great substitution, right? Okay. But in order to eliminate, you have to have x and y on the same side. We have to have it look the same. So how could I get this 10 over here? Well, I could add 10, couldn't I? Now, notice that I didn't put it underneath the y because x and y are not, okay? X and y are not like terms. There we go. Okay, I'm going to rewrite my question, or my two equations right here. Notice anything? That's weird. Now, can I add these and they'll eliminate? Well, no, because they're both the same sign. Notice 10. Okay, so I'm going to take and multiply this one by a negative 1 because my goal is I have to have one positive. Whoops, that's a negative. That's a negative. Right? Wow, I could eliminate both. Oh, wow. Look at that. Huh. Whoops. I use pink, don't I? Wow, what happens here? I get nothing. I get nothing. Now, nothing is really what? What's 10 and a negative 2? That's 8, right? Nothing really is 0, right? That's really what we're getting every time. Is that a true statement? Does 0 equal 8? No. So it's no solution. So what does that mean? No solution. So will these lines ever cross? No. So what does that mean if these lines never cross? What does that mean that they are? That's right. They're parallel. Very good. All right, that's all for now.